Every time I go to work, I'm like, and my preceptors are like, calm down, you're fine, you're fine. I'm like, Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy. I'm a Neonatal Nurse Practitioner, and I make content about nursing, living in Houston, and how to achieve your goals. If that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and push that subscribe button and let's get into the content. Today's video is going to be about how to transition from NICU nurse into NNP. Now, I've gotten messages and comments asking me to make a video about this, so I'm going to give you kind of like an update of where things are for me and then things I'm doing to transition and what the transition is actually looking like. Since I'm 1 month into my transition, I mean, it seems like it's been longer, but literally 1 month at my job. So I can officially give you guys like a 1 month update. I'm thinking that I'll just make like a playlist, a video. So like a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month update. So let me know if you guys want me to make videos like that, just to kind of let you know how the transition is going, what it actually looks like working in this role. And I'll just make videos updating you guys like kind of how my journey is going. As I said before, I started in my home unit as a brand new baby new grad, and then I transitioned into the NNP role in that same unit. A lot of you guys have reached out to me and asked me, how's the transition going? How do I transition? You know, what does it look like? And so I decided to make a video for you guys. If you like this video, please share it with your nursing friends, anybody thinking about going back to nurse practitioner school. And yeah, let's get into the content. First of all, before I even start, I know I sound a little funny. I've been sick for 4 days. I mean, literally just getting out of the bed, okay? So yes, my voice sounds funny. Yes, I'm still a little under the weather, but it's getting better. Since this is the first video in this series, let me just say, first things first, being a provider is scary. It's scary, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's scary. One thing I say all the time in this video, in this channel, and all my future videos, I will not lie to you. And I will tell you, being a provider is definitely different from being a nurse. You're going from taking the orders, doing what the providers say, to actually giving the orders. Nurse practitioners are providers. We are authorized to diagnose and treat our patients. So get ready for that. It's an extreme amount of fear all the time. Every time you go to work, I'm not kidding. Every time I go to work, I'm like, and my preceptors are like, calm down, you're fine, you're fine. I'm like, but listen, you already did the hard work, you did the school, you know, you did the school thing, you did the training, you did your clinical hours. Now it's your time. You're licensed, you're a provider. You can treat and diagnose your patients. You are part of the medical team now. The good thing is, as an NNP, you are not just thrown into the wolves. Like, I have friends that are nurse practitioners. I watch nurse practitioners on this, you know, app, and they say like, okay, when you graduate and you get your job, they expect you to get started. Like, start taking patients, know what you're doing. There's no extra training. But as an NNP, I have 6 months of training. And I know other people, you know, they get 3 months, they get 4 months, whatever, 5 months, but I get 6, and I can ask for more if I want it. So that's one of the reasons why I chose the job that I chose. I think I need to make a video about how to interview, the questions you need to ask as a new nurse practitioner. But that was one of the questions that I asked. How long is my orientation and what will it look like? I'm so happy that I picked the place that I picked, because my orientation is 6 months. I do have a preceptor every day, and I'm not alone. I'm not expected to know everything. I'm not expected to know how to do the procedures. I'm not expected to I'm expected to just be a new grad. And I love that for me. And I love that for the babies. So I'm going to keep sharing this with y'all and updating y'all. I'm sure there's going to be like some crazy days, some hard days and stuff like that. But as of right now, things are moving pretty slow. I am up to 7 patients on my own, which is pretty good. And I do my own notes and put in my own orders. I assess my patients. I make a plan and discuss it with the medical team during rounds. And yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good so far in my first month. So I came to Houston because I did not want to work in the same unit that I started in as a new grad. As Meredith Grey says,
you can't stay at the place you did your residency forever, because that's how people see you. They see you for who you were, not as the person you've become.
That was deep, but she hit the nail on the head. She hit the nail on the head. I need people to see me for who I am. I don't want people to see me for who I was, the new grad who started in the unit, who was scared to change a baby's diaper, okay? I need people to see me for who I am. The professional that went back to school, who struggled to get this degree, who takes their job very serious, who holds the profession at the highest level that it is. And that is why I chose Houston. I did not want to start in that same unit. I did my clinical hours there. I did the 600 hours there. So I did transition. The bedside nurses that I had been working with for years saw me in the role. Everybody was so good to me. Like, everybody was very respectful. Well, wait a minute. I ain't gonna say everybody, because there were a couple old, angry nurses. But for the most part, all the nurses that I personally know were very respectful, very, supportive of me being in this role and transitioning. And so I didn't have that problem with transitioning in my home unit, but it was more like I wanted to go somewhere where people only knew me as a nurse practitioner. They didn't know me as a bedside nurse first. I know, like, if the nurses don't respect you, they can give you a hard time. Nurses, we are pushy people. We are good at advocating for our patients. We do not play, especially NICU nurses, okay? So I did not want that to be my story. Like, I did not want to have that situation. And luckily for me, I did not have that situation. Kind of how my day goes as a new grad coming into the unit, okay? First couple days, I only took like 3 patients, then I slowly moved up. Now I'm at 7. So I choose the patients that I want to take. We discuss it, like, what do they think that I'm ready to move to? And then I can say yes or no. And then, that's kind of how my little plan has been progressing. I think it's been progressing pretty well. Doing the notes, that's something different, learning how to do that. We do notes differently here than, what I experienced in St. Louis, okay? So everything is like, it's a little learning curve, but that's okay. So in the morning when we come in, I take my patients, I get sign out from the night APN, and then I go and get my numbers, make a plan for my patients, go assess them, talk to the nurses, make sure that they don't need anything, they don't have any concerns, and then we round. Our neonatologist does not stay in house. So when they come in, we round and I present my patients and then I give my plan. The neos are very supportive and talk me through it, like, make me understand why I need to change my plan, or, encourage me, like, okay, that was a good plan. That was what I was going to do, so that feels good. And then after we round, then I go and put in my orders and write my notes, and that's pretty much my day. Unless something crazy happens, if there's a delivery, I go to deliveries, which is pretty exciting because you're seeing babies being born all the time. That's pretty cool. And then, if there's an admission, we take admissions, but that's my day. And I haven't had sick kids yet, so I'm not getting the constant phone calls from the nurses and, changing orders, changing fluids. I'm not doing that yet. But so far, the transition has been pretty good. I love my job. I know there's a lot of people out here like, you can't love a job. Like, who wants to go to work? Okay, but if I was not getting paid, I would still do this job. That tells me I love my job. Okay, so now I'm going to share some things with you guys that I think is important to know. And also, while I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself, because you are seeing this happen in real time. Okay, so I'm dealing with all the feelings that a new grad would feel, such as imposter syndrome, such as fear, such as, not being saved, like scared that I'm not being saved, stuff like that. I'm dealing with all this right now in real time, as you are watching me. So if you are in this position, or if you're going to transition from NICU nurse to NNP, these are some things I want you to know. Number one, you have got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It is an uncomfortable feeling because you were expert NICU nurse. You know, if you did your time, like I was a NICU nurse for 6 years. So I was pretty confident and comfortable with taking any type of baby that walked through the door. I was confident in my skills and my knowledge, and now I'm back to being a new grad. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and just give yourself grace. Remember what it was like as a new grad when you walk into the unit. You didn't know anything. Your preceptors taught you everything, right? So why are you expecting yourself as a new nurse practitioner to know everything? You're not going to know everything. You know, you just got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Remember being a new nurse and feeling like, oh, I don't want to feel stupid. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want people to talk about me. You still feel the same way as a nurse practitioner. Like, now I'm in a unit. These nurses don't personally know me, but at the end of the day, I am the provider. And so I have to remind myself, like, looking stupid is not a thing. Like, don't worry about looking stupid. You are there to protect the patient, make the best decision for the patient. That's it. Period. As a new grad, you have support. You have people there to ask questions. Nobody's going to let you make a decision that's going to harm a baby. So, you know, just be okay with saying you don't know. Ask questions, look stuff up, use your resources. In nursing, we always say it's okay to say, let me go find out for you. When a nurse calls you and they want an order, like I want an order right now, I need an order for this x-ray. Don't let anybody rush you or push you if it's not an emergency, because then you can mess around and make the wrong decision for your patient. It's okay to tell them, let me call you right back. And then look up the answer, or call your preceptor, or call the neo at home, or whoever you need to talk to make sure that you're making the right choice. But don't let anybody push you into making a decision. You know, nurses, you know how we are, okay? You know how we are. So don't let the nurses push you into making a decision because you're not confident yet, okay? The great thing for me is the nurses at my hospital are very supportive. Like they act like they know me. I mean, they just met me, but they act like they know me. They're very supportive, very nice. I don't have those problems. But if you have those problems, understand you are part of the medical team. It's okay to ask for help. Reach out to your people. Tell them what you're thinking and ask them, you know, are you on the right track with your decision making? I have my resources. I told you guys these are the resources that I use as a new grad. Okay, I have my NICU survival guide. This survival guide right here goes over pretty much everything and anything you will need to know as a new neonatal nurse practitioner. If you are in the NICU, you need this. It has everything. It has calculations. It has procedures. It has vents. It has anything you could think you need, all in one place. This right here, my NICU Bible, I told you and I'll tell you again, and I'll always tell you, get this book and keep it with you. It stays in my bag at all times. This is my clipboard, okay? This clipboard unfolds like this. I use this during rounds, and I keep important guidelines here so I can just, like, you know, quickly glance at them. And then a notebook, okay? In my notebook, I write down stuff that I see all the time that's not like sticky. So I write it down so that I can look at it, glance at it anytime. Just, you know, just keep your little notes in there, okay? So anyway, I'm saying all that to say, whatever you decide to get some resources, because now you have to take responsibility as a provider. So it's up to you to continue your learning and to make sure that if you don't know it, go home and read about it. Go home and learn about it. Watch some videos. Tala, I listen to her in the car on the way to work and on my way home. I'm very serious about being an excellent provider. I take my job very serious. And so I spend a lot of my time studying, even though I'm out of school. I will link these below. You can grab them off Amazon. I will also link Tala's video somewhere so that you can get it too, but her name is Tala Talks and she talks NICU. She's on YouTube. She's great. for any level. If you are a nurse, nurse practitioner, student, or if you've already graduated and you're just like me, NNP transitioning. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is time management. Transitioning has been different when it comes to my time management. I'm used to getting things done quickly. You know, I was pretty good at the bedside. Now I move slow as a snail. Okay, so just be prepared to move slow as a snail. Learning your time management is something serious. I don't know if you guys remember like what it was like being a new grad and they gave you 3 babies and you had to learn how to take care of all 3 babies at the same time and chart all your cares. Well, now as a provider, I have to learn how to take care of all 7 patients at the same time, put in my orders, write my notes, and still eat lunch. It's an adjustment. So the advice that I give with that is to stay organized. Like I told you, I have my clipboard. I have important guidelines in there. And that's another thing. You will have guidelines as a provider, or hopefully your hospital will provide that. But that's another question to ask during that interview process, okay? So you'll have your guidelines, you know, feeding guidelines, fluid guidelines, blood transfusion guidelines, such and such and such. Okay, you'll have those guidelines. So stay organized and look over them, get to know them when you're off. You know, it's your responsibility to be familiar with the guidelines. Guidelines are there to guide you. They are not a policy. So they just guide you in your thought process and in your practice. But it's still good practice to get to know your guidelines. Next thing I want to talk about is how rough it is to transition on your body, physically, mentally, on your mind, and emotionally on your spirit. You have to remember to prioritize self-care. I know it always sounds crazy saying it, but it's so true. Like on my off days, I go to Pilates, I go for a walk, I just take time to decompress. I'm making an adjustment because as a bedside nurse, I was working 2 12-hour shifts a week. I was weekend option, so I had a lot of free time. Now, as a transitioning NNP, I'm currently working 14 12-hour shifts a month. It's a big adjustment for me. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, I went from working 8 12-hour shifts a month to working 14. It's a lot. It's a big adjustment. Now, this adjustment is only happening while I'm training. Once I'm full-time on my own, I will do 7 24-hour shifts a month. So that'll be a better adjustment, I feel like, for me. I don't know what these 24-hour shifts are going to look like. I don't know, but we'll find that out. But I feel like that'll be a better adjustment for me. 14 12s is a lot, okay? So that's another thing. When you're transitioning from NICU nurse to NNP, think about the difference in that schedule. Your schedule is going to be different. I do get to self-schedule, but I'm working 7 24-hour shifts a month now. So yeah, recharge, prioritize self-care, figure out a hobby that you're going to do outside of work, a way to get in exercise, a way to get in healthy eating, you know, pack your lunch, or, you know, my job provides lunch, but you can pack your lunch so that you make sure you have healthy lunches. Like, you got to make sure that you take care of yourself, because transitioning from NICU nurse to NNP can stress you out, and you can experience burnout the same way bedside nurses experience burnout. And we don't want to do that, because we finally made it to our goals. Okay, we finally made it here, so let's take care of ourselves now. We deserve it. So in 2024, I'm letting go of imposter syndrome. I hope you do the same, and let's move forward. Like, let's transition from NICU nurse to NNP. Let's be happy. Let's live our best lives. Let's just do this. We can do this, y'all. So there you have it. That's my 1 month update from NICU nurse to NNP. I hope you guys found this video inspiring. I hope it helps you in some type of way. Remember, transitioning to a new role is never easy. You have got to give yourself grace. And I'm talking to myself. So you have got to give yourself grace, okay? I know. Anyway, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below letting me know if you are going to school to be an NNP or if you're transitioning just like me, so that we can be a community girl, because we need to lean on each other, okay? With dedication, perseverance, and a supportive community, we can be great NNPs. We can. We already have something that most nurse practitioners don't get, which is a transitioning time and orientation of 6 months or however many months your hospital give you. But you already got something that a lot of nurse practitioners don't have. So you can achieve anything that you put your mind up to. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.
Pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, pretty, pretty.